Hi and welcome to the Ruby Tuesday. My name is Ruben and this is
K.
And today we are reviewing Netflix's original series, The Crown Season 3.
Woohoo!
So recently I caught up on the first two seasons. It's one of those series that you kind of have to be in the mood to watch, especially because you know the content, you feel like it's going to be heavy and dark and kind of moody, and sometimes when it comes to period pieces, you really have to grab me, and it's not my first initial I really want to watch this. But I recently watched them and they're amazing. The cast, the way it's filmed, it's fantastic. It's some of the best TV you're likely to see, and if you haven't seen it yet, probably time to get into that, because even though it's about royalty, the stories that are told, which are, as far as I'm aware, most of it is true, obviously embellished.
Potentially.
If you like Downton Abbey, that's a little bit of what it's like, but this is kind of feels like more real.
Yeah.
And the budget is,
And it's not
fairly
quite
big.
as period
You cannot flinch.
as Downton Abbey. It's more recent history.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So there's 10 episodes for season 3, but the new big thing really is that the cast have changed over, and
Yeah.
so now we've got Olivia Colman, who's playing the Queen.
Yep.
We've got Helena Bonham, who's playing Margaret. And yeah, so you have a number of new actors. You've
Yeah.
got,
Basically, all the main characters have been replaced by
Yeah.
different actors. Rather than trying to age the existing actors that you had for season 1 and 2, they've actually just replaced them.
yeah. And there's this wonderful scene right at the beginning of the first episode where the Queen is looking at the two portraits for changing of the stamps.
The stamps, yeah.
And the money, obviously. And so they address it right at the beginning, which is nice. They understand that people are going to feel a bit weird about it, because even, I didn't expect to like go, hey, hang on a second, I want those characters. I like those characters now.
Yeah.
You get to know a character as they
Yeah.
act in those, their interpretation of who the Queen is, or, who their characters they're playing. And so you can feel like, I feel like that whenever they change like a doctor. From Doctor Who.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a similar
I
feeling.
was like, what?
Yeah.
When you change your GP?
And so I was worried, but I was also intrigued to see, because these actors are phenomenal.
Oh,
Helena Bonham
very,
Carter,
very
if you know anything
talented.
about her, whenever she takes on a role, she's like a chameleon. She's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Olivia Colman is one of our favorites.
Yeah, she's brilliant.
She obviously recently won a Oscar for The Favourite.
The Favourite.
Yep. Again, she was playing the Queen, so she was just phenomenal.
That was her audition.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. So what do we think? What do we think?
What do we think?
Yeah, that's think
That's
and
a-
thunk.
That's a
What do we
good-
think?
Good word. I think that the transition for the Queen herself, that character from Claire Foy to Olivia Colman, was done beautifully. Like, really don't worry about that, because within a few minutes you're going to be going, oh yeah, that's the Queen.
Yeah.
And totally, you will see tiny little moments of Claire Foy's interpretation of the Queen in there as well, which I think is really clever.
Yeah.
Because you want to have that continuation. I thought the transition from Margaret to Margaret, I found that a little bit more jarring.
Yeah, I'd
Because
agree.
I felt like they were totally different interpretations of who Margaret was.
Yeah.
And a really little interesting little side note, which you can choose to keep in or not. I was reading an interview with Helena Bonham Carter, and she said that she had a friend who was a psychic, who had a message for her, and she said, "Oh, someone named Margaret. Does that mean anything to you?" So Helena goes, "Yes." So she goes, "She wants to talk to you or something." She's like, "Okay." And yeah, apparently she insulted her from the grave,
Wow.
which was very Margaret. She basically said, well, you were better than the other option.
Wow.
So yes, you can play me.
Oh, thanks for that bit of trivia.
Weird trivia.
Going back on interviews, Olivia Colman has said that she had to study the Queen because she was really worried about what the Queen would think, because the Queen actually watches this series.
Yeah, I know.
So that's quite a bit of pressure to have. And whatever you think about royalty in this country, or whether you're from the UK, whether you're from around the world, there are two clear paths. People actually like them or they don't like them. They think they have no place in society. and some still see the value of them. This, I feel, will give people a really good insight as to the lives they've had to live.
Yeah.
Obviously embellished, but I feel like it's authentic. At the same time, it might open your eyes into, wow, that their lives are like that, and what they've gone through as a family throughout history. Again, this covers a multitude of years, so it's not just like 1 year. The story again is they take moments where the royal family have to be involved in, some quite traumatic moments. There's a couple of episodes will probably engage you emotionally, and I thought the way they dealt with some of those experiences without going into spoilers was done in a way that was not uplifting. It's there's
honoring.
Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. It's very honoring to the people involved in that. So sometimes when you have to talk about subjects that are really hard to talk about, you can worry that somebody might not like us talking about that subject.
Yeah.
But if you do it in a way that's honoring the people involved, which they do, then then you can talk about it, and it's nice.
Yeah.
I would say that this is filmed fantastically. It's the cinematography, although you wouldn't think there's much cinematography to do because there's not many, I guess, there's not many places that they change. You either have Downing Street, you have the palace, and then whatever Margaret's doing.
Yeah.
And
Margaret gets the interesting stuff.
but you mentioned about the detail that they have.
Oh, so much detail. Yeah. Yeah, the costume, the set design, the set decorating, all of that is just meticulous.
Yeah, I mean, when you watch this, that's the word meticulous is right from everything, like the acting, the cinematography, the score,
It's beautiful.
the theme, which is Hans Zimmer. They've continued that, and so there's just this air of quality.
Yeah.
Which is what you get. I'm hoping that we get to see more. Because there's the next story which they could do is Diana, I think.
Yeah.
Because they do go into the pre-Diana storyline. I think it'll be really interesting to see.
It'll be very interesting. Very divisive, though. I mean, obviously we live in England, and so the royals are always in the news.
Yeah.
That's something we live with all the time, and I feel for them because they have no privacy at all.
But there was one particular scene between Margaret and the Queen, which we were talking about.
Yeah.
That was just phenomenal. And if you do awards, like you do awards for TV, but I'm saying that it's like an almost Oscar-worthy moments that
So
you'll get.
beautiful.
So well done.
Yeah.
You can see why these actors have been chosen for these roles. So any kind of like emotions you had towards your actors or actresses for the first 2 seasons, that's not taking anything away from what they did with those 2 seasons. This one does feel different, and it starts off kind of slow, and I was like, oh, is this going to drag?
Yeah, the first episode's a little bit trudgy.
Yeah.
So just get through that one, and then you'll be fine.
Once you get into the stories of, you understand what they're doing, you've gotten to grips with the new actors, the new characters, I think you're going to enjoy this. If you enjoyed the first 2 seasons, you're going to find this one interesting. It is different, but then again, it's a new cast. And I like what they've done with it.
Me too.
I would say this is A. It's easy A. It's very, very good. There was one thing I wanted to say, just on a personal note. There was one prime minister in this this season 3 that I kind of went, I wish that was reflective of, because there definitely there are political nods and reflections to what we're going through now.
Yes.
And you kind of go, you can't help but go, ugh. Yeah, so I'm just speaking in Morse code. I'm sure you can
read between the lines.
Read between, because you should never do political stuff in reviews because everybody gets upset. So
yes, well,
but it's an interesting, and you can't really have a show like this without being political. The whole show is political.
Yeah.
So let us know in the comments below what you thought about this series. Were you excited to see it? You're excited about a mosquito?
No, I'm like, oh, mosquito. It's gonna get
Thanks
me.
so much for watching this review and listening to our thoughts on it. But most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.